You know, it starts to become very obvious that the same people that are globalists are the same people that are pedophiles. Or they're pedophile protectors. Really, because, you know, they all hate Trump. And what do they really hate Trump for? I mean, because if you're just a globalist, you can argue that, yeah, we don't care about your Constitution and we want one government system for the whole world. And that's completely ludicrous and ridiculous and not of sound mind. But you could say that they still stand on that. But really, because they still stand for that, it's like, what are you really hiding? That maybe a lot of you are pedophiles and pedophile protectors. That's really what it is. It is. I mean, Epstein, again, Trump, he came off the street when Trump got into office. And as we all know, Cindy McCain herself said on TV that everyone knew about Epstein. It's just nobody was willing to do anything. Trump did. Harvey Weinstein was arrested. And then the P. Diddy, which will be a massive scandal of like the entire music industry and more, I'm sure. And you just can kind of see it. They all hate Trump, right? The globalists hate Trump. They're just all likely pedophiles. And then you can see the other ridiculous fools, okay? Like, you know, CDC, the Nursing and Medical Associations, the Hospital Association. So I was told at work last night that if I'm going to decline the flu vaccine, which I did, I do anyway. Before COVID, I did. That I will have to wear a mask every time I'm at work from November 1st until the end of March. There was a time in this country that we just managed flu. We didn't need to do this bullshit. It's so obvious being controlling. But you know what is really more bullshit about it? Is that you're basically then telling everybody in the hospital my medical record by making me wear a mask. Because it's not just, oh, you have to wear a mask when you're sick. No, you have to wear it every day. Because you've declined. So you're telling but see, it's like I said before, the hospitals can, you know, violate HIPAA whenever they want. But that's my personal medical, right? That shouldn't have to be blasted. But if I'm wearing a mask from November to March, then, well, everybody knows. So there was a time we wore a mask if we were sick at work or we were around an infectious patient. So do you see how they took COVID and they've just turned it into a control game? So something needs to be done about this. Like these hospitals need to be, dealt with. And if Kamala gets in, which they're so bad. What's really sad in a way about it is that while they're still focusing on COVID and the flu, as if we couldn't handle the flu every other year. I mean, flu was non-existent during COVID. Just remember that. Just saying. But while they're so focused on, employees wearing masks and people getting vaccines, there's a major pedophile pandemic in the world, far greater than any COVID virus, okay? Major. The P. Diddy thing is massive. Epstein was massive because he was part of our intelligence agency and part of other intelligence agencies in other countries. That's why he was always protected. So it's massive, and it's really just a blackmail scheme. You have to do this, but they're abusing kids, trafficking kids. So when our health system doesn't even make it a point to make that the priority, but they want to make the priority that, oh, you need to wear your mask if you don't get a flu vaccine. You need to wear it, not when you're sick, just all the time. Then what you're showing is that, well, you're pedophile protectors too, aren't you? Because while you medical experts, and I mean the people at the top, continue to just act like that's no big deal, that you can't put the pieces together that Epstein was a major child trafficker, and so was Ghislaine Maxwell, okay? And then the P. Diddy fallout, and there'll be more. You're showing that you're not really good at just common sense, that really you should stop worrying about masks. And we went most of our history dealing with the flu, and we didn't have to wear masks. Nurses knew when they should, but we didn't have to be told to wear them all the time. But you guys none of the health agencies seem to know how to put two and two together. Yeah. So where I work, they're so cheap that these are now the cups. Do you know what kind of cup this is? This is the kind. I mean, patients are livid about this, and I don't blame them, okay? This is ridiculous. This is like what this kind. I can't even hold it. This kind of cup is what you would get in the dentist office, you know, when they tell you to swish and spit. This isn't what you give patients when they say, "Can I have some water?" I mean, but on top of it, then they took out our water. So it's really so messed up. It's so messed up. It's comical in a way. Like, it couldn't be any more effed up. So we're not allowed to have water pitchers or use like ice or infection control stuff. Yeah. Well, you should see what the water looks like that comes out of the sink, but that's what we have to use. Yeah. But we used to have in the fishbowl, which is like the report room. We used to have one of those things that had hot and cold water. Well, now they've just suddenly decided to take those out. And yet in the group rooms, they have this device that's in the wall that's for water, but it's like you push it and it's enough maybe to fill half of this. And look at how this. So you have to keep pushing it, and the water's horrible. And if you try to use any sink, it's all warm water that comes out immediately. So this made absolutely no sense unless you just wanted to make staff and the patients miserable. Because even the sinks in the patients' rooms, when you hit it, it's like one of those things where you put your hand under it and it comes out. It's warm. It's not like you can control it. And that's how it is in like our fishbowl, the sink we have in there. So when they took these water devices out, it's like you're just showing that you just want to be assholes. Yeah. And then on top of it, so now they brought somebody on board, because I said how in intake, it used to, when we had an ethical system, it was usually the nurse and the doctor that collaborated about taking patients, but not at this place, not at a lot of places anymore, because they've taken the nurse out of that, which is really, I've called doctors before and they're like, well, I didn't know anything about this admission. So I was like, oh, so who accepted them? I mean, there's some legal problems doing that. Okay. But now they've decided to put a social worker who is coming on board, and she's also she may be a lawyer as well. Isn't a JD a church? I think that's the letters for lawyer. Yeah, she has a legal background. So then she'll make sure to do every unethical thing, but make sure it's all legal. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, good luck with that. I still think you're gonna, you all of you hospitals playing this game, you freestanding psych hospitals, the days are numbered until this system turns around. And I mean, you're already, a bunch of you are in trouble because of your history anyway. But bringing a legal social worker, yeah, that's just so that they can try to continue to do unethical things, but they'll have somebody that's a legal expert, and she's going to make all these changes. Oh yeah, I'm sure those will be just the most worst changes too. It's so ridiculous, all of it is. But again, instead of these people you'd think that especially in mental health, that should be the main focus, is all this fallout with child trafficking, all this fallout with pedophilia. And if you were a smart education or medical system, you'd make that the priority and not masks.